Infraweek Latinoamérica 2025. Es un honor darles la bienvenida a este espacio donde la innovación, la tecnología y la visión de futuro se encuentran. Soy Erika Zapata y desde Bentley Systems tengo la oportunidad de ser parte del impulso que conecta la innovación con las soluciones que están transformando el futuro de nuestra infraestructura. Infraweek Latinoamérica es mucho más que un evento virtual gratuito. Es una plataforma para descubrir cómo la infraestructura de nuestra región está evolucionando gracias a tecnologías como los gemelos digitales, la inteligencia artificial y el software avanzado. Hoy los invito a explorar junto a nosotros las tendencias que están dando forma al futuro de sectores clave como el agua, la energía, las ciudades digitales, el transporte y la sostenibilidad. El tema que nos guía en esta edición es explorando las tendencias tecnológicas en infraestructura con gemelos digitales e inteligencia artificial en Latinoamérica. Prepárense para inspirarse, aprender y ser parte del cambio. Quiero expresar mi más profundo agradecimiento a todos quienes hacen posible este evento, a las organizaciones que generosamente comparten sus proyectos, conocimientos y experiencias, a nuestros líderes invitados Julian Mood, Fabián Folgar, por compartir su visión y liderazgo como ejecutivos de la empresa, a mis colegas de Bentley y Sequent por su compromiso y colaboración constante, a nuestros channel partners cuyo apoyo es fundamental para el éxito de este encuentro y muy especialmente a ustedes, quienes nos acompañan y enriquecen este evento con su presencia. Gracias por ser parte de Infraweek. Bienvenidos a la sesión 1 de Infraweek Latinoamérica, Infraestructura, Inteligencia Artificial, Gemelos Digitales y Sustentabilidad. Nos encontramos en un momento clave para el futuro de la infraestructura. La convergencia entre la inteligencia artificial, los gemelos digitales y la sostenibilidad está transformando la manera en que diseñamos, construimos y gestionamos nuestros entornos. Esta sesión nos invita a explorar cómo estas tecnologías están impulsando la eficiencia, la resiliencia y el compromiso con un desarrollo más sostenible en nuestra región. Y no podríamos tener una mejor apertura. Comenzamos con 2 presentaciones magistrales a cargo de grandes líderes de Bentley Systems que marcarán el rumbo estratégico de este evento. Primero, acelerando la inteligencia en infraestructura para una Latinoamérica resiliente, a cargo de Fabián Folgar. Una visión inspiradora sobre cómo la innovación tecnológica puede fortalecer la resiliencia de nuestra región frente a los desafíos actuales y futuros. A continuación, inteligencia artificial en infraestructuras, transformando la eficiencia, el diseño y la resiliencia, presentado por Julian Mood, donde exploraremos cómo la inteligencia artificial está revolucionando la forma en que concebimos y operamos infraestructuras más inteligentes y sostenibles. A lo largo de esta sesión abordaremos también temas fundamentales como rumbo a la COP30, de los compromisos climáticos a la acción con gemelos digitales de infraestructura. Una mirada estratégica sobre cómo la tecnología puede acelerar la acción climática. Inteligencia artificial para el diseño de infraestructura OpenSite Plus, una demostración del poder de la automatización inteligente en el diseño urbano y civil. Y finalmente, descubre Cesium, la plataforma líder en geoespacial 3D, donde conoceremos una herramienta clave para visualizar y analizar el mundo en 3 dimensiones. Prepárense para una jornada llena de ideas innovadoras, soluciones reales y una visión compartida hacia una infraestructura más inteligente, conectada y sostenible para América Latina. Bienvenidos a Infraweek. Ahora quiero dar la bienvenida a uno de nuestros ponentes principales de esta jornada. Nos acompaña un líder con una visión clara del futuro de la infraestructura digital. Con más de 20 años de experiencia en el sector de software, Fabián Folgar ha sido una fuerza impulsora detrás de la transformación digital en empresas de Europa, Norteamérica y Latinoamérica. Durante más de una década, ha trabajado incansablemente para acercar las tecnologías de gemelos digitales de Bentley a organizaciones que buscan innovar, optimizar y construir un futuro más resiliente. Su pasión, ayudar a ingenieros, diseñadores y tomadores de decisiones a aprovechar el poder de lo digital para diseñar, construir y operar infraestructuras más inteligentes, sostenibles y eficientes. Hoy, Fabián nos invita a mirar hacia adelante, a imaginar lo que es posible cuando combinamos tecnología, visión y propósito. Con ustedes, Fabián Folgar, con la presentación Acelerando la inteligencia en infraestructura para una Latinoamérica resiliente. Bienvenido, Fabián.
Muchas gracias, Erika. Buenos días y bienvenidos a Bentley Infraweek para América Latina en el 2025. Es un honor para mí abrir estas jornadas sobre el futuro de la infraestructura en una de las regiones más vibrantes y más dinámicas del mundo. Durante los próximos días escuchará a innovadores, a ingenieros, líderes del sector público y privado que están transformando la forma en que diseñamos, construimos y operamos la infraestructura en América Latina. América Latina se encuentra en una encrucijada crítica. Nos enfrentamos a poblaciones en crecimiento, ciudades en crecimiento, infraestructura envejecida, eventos climáticos extremos y, sobre todo, mayores demandas de transparencia y de sostenibilidad. Y, sin embargo, nunca ha habido más oportunidades para dar un salto adelante. Con la tecnología digital no solo estamos construyendo infraestructura, sino que además estamos construyendo inteligencia de infraestructura. Empecemos por una de las mayores transformaciones de nuestro sector, los gemelos digitales. A través de la plataforma iTwin de Bentley, los ingenieros, operadores y líderes ahora pueden visualizar, analizar y simular la infraestructura en tiempo real, ya sea un ferrocarril en Brasil, una hidroeléctrica en Colombia o una red de agua en Panamá. Ya no es necesario estar en el lugar para comprender lo que está sucediendo. Los gemelos digitales nos ayudan a detectar errores antes de que ocurran, simular respuestas a desastres naturales, tomar decisiones que no solo sean rápidas, sino también inteligentes y, la mejor parte, trabajan con todas las herramientas de diseño que existen hoy en día en el mercado latinoamericano. Los retrasos en la construcción y los excesos de presupuesto no solo son frustrantes, sino que además son muy costosos. Con Syncro, Bentley ayuda a las agencias y a contratistas a pasar de los diagramas de Gantt estáticos a la gestión de la construcción en 4D y 5D mediante la combinación de cronograma, costo y diseño en un solo modelo. Syncro se utiliza para planificar las fases de construcción, evitar conflictos en el lugar de trabajo, optimizar los horarios de entrega y, sobre todo, para ensayar la construcción antes de empezar a construir. Al igual que un piloto entrena en un simulador, usted ahora puede simular su proceso constructivo. Se trata de una transformación digital basada en resultados prácticos. En toda América Latina nos enfrentamos a la paradoja del agua. Inundaciones en algunas regiones, sequías en otras. Con Open Flows, Waterside, AssetWise APM y iTwin IoT, Bentley respalda la gestión inteligente del agua a través de un análisis predictivo de fugas y exposiciones, monitorización de la presión en tiempo real, planificación del ciclo de vida de las plantas de tratamiento de agua. Estamos ayudando a las ciudades y a todos los países a utilizar sensores de IoT y gemelos digitales para hacer que las redes de agua sean más eficientes, más resilientes y más equitativas. Lo mismo se aplica a las empresas de servicios eléctricos, donde AssetWise permite la confiabilidad de la red y la gestión de riesgos de activos, especialmente crítico, con una mayor integración de energías renovables. El transporte es una columna vertebral de la conectividad en América Latina. Y América Latina está invirtiendo en carreteras, en ferrocarriles como nunca antes, con soluciones como Open Rail, Open Roads, AssetWise, Linear Assets. Los gobiernos y los contratistas ofrecen corredores más seguros, con monitoreo en tiempo real, mantenimiento optimizado de las carreteras, con trabajo de proyectos interoperables con integración de su GIS, del BIM y del CAD. La digitalización no solo mejora la entrega, sino que garantiza el rendimiento a largo plazo desde las carreteras cubiertas de la selva en las Amazonas hasta los ferrocarriles de alta utilización en ciudades como Ciudad de México o Sao Paulo. La infraestructura ahora se puede capturar en 3D, usando no solo drones, sino que también teléfonos inteligentes o tabletas. Con iTwin Capture permitimos a las ciudades y a las agencias inspeccionar digitalmente puentes sin cerrarlos, utilizar inteligencia artificial para detectar defectos y corrosiones, crear modelos de alta fidelidad de tuberías, torres y corredores urbanos. Se trata de una revolución en la planificación del mantenimiento y el cumplimiento de normativas, reduciendo costes y mejorando la seguridad. Las redes de transporte de América Latina son complejas, diversas y se extienden a través de selvas tropicales, tierras altas, costas y ciudades densas. En América Latina, esta escala presenta enormes desafíos para mantener la seguridad, la eficiencia y la resiliencia en miles de kilómetros de carreteras y vías férreas. Es ahí donde entra BIM-SIG. Quiero presentarles BIM-SIG. BIM-SIG es la plataforma avanzada de Bentley para la inteligencia de infraestructura conectada. En 2025 lanzaremos la solución para agencias de transporte, municipios, servicios públicos y operadores logísticos en América Latina. ¿Qué es lo que hace que BIM-SIG sea diferente? Es inteligencia vial impulsada por inteligencia artificial. Detecte anomalías como baches, congestiones de tráfico, daños a la señalización y automáticamente mediante transmisiones de vídeo de dispositivos móviles y vehículos conectados. Ayuda con la monitorización colaborativa y sin sensores. No hay necesidad de una costosa infraestructura fija. BIM-SIG puede recopilar datos de forma pasiva a través de vehículos que ya están en movimiento, recolectando información en vivo para carreteras, ferrocarriles, desde los límites de velocidad hasta el uso de vías y cruces ferroviarios. BIM-SIG proporciona paneles de control en vivo para centros de operación y equipos de campo. ¿Por qué es importante esto para América Latina? América Latina tiene una de las redes viales más grandes y menos monitoreadas del mundo. Las inspecciones tradicionales son manuales, costosas y a menudo retrasadas. Con BIM-SIG, los concesionarios pueden cumplir con todos sus objetivos regulatorios y los gobiernos municipales y estatales pueden clasificar las necesidades de mantenimiento con la puntuación de gravedad en tiempo real. Mediante el uso de flujos de trabajo con inteligencia artificial nativos en la nube, BIM-SIG puede reducir el tiempo entre la detección de un problema y la intervención, lo que ayuda a mejorar la seguridad pública y la vida útil de nuestros activos y de nuestras carreteras en Latinoamérica. En última instancia, nada de esto funciona a menos que colaboremos a través de equipos y herramientas y soluciones. Es por eso que nuestras soluciones digitales están diseñadas para conectarse con lo último disponible en el mercado latinoamericano, sin necesidad de reemplazar sus sistemas existentes. Solo tiene que conectarlos y utilizar a Bentley como puente entre sus soluciones y sus gemelos digitales. América Latina tiene el talento, América Latina tiene la ambición y ahora tiene las herramientas. En Bentley creemos que el futuro pertenece a aquellos que adoptan la inteligencia de la infraestructura, la capacidad de sentir, pensar y actuar utilizando el contexto digital. Les invito a desafiar viejos flujos de trabajo, a explorar nuevas ideas e imaginar qué es lo que pueden convertirse sus proyectos cuando están conectados, sean inteligentes y sostenibles. Muchísimas gracias. Contamos con su ayuda y construyamos algo extraordinariamente juntos.
Muchas gracias, Fabián, por esta presentación tan inspiradora y llena de visión que nos ha dado una perspectiva clara sobre cómo la inteligencia digital puede transformar la infraestructura en nuestra región y nos deja con ideas valiosas para seguir avanzando hacia una Latinoamérica más resiliente e innovadora. Antes de continuar con la siguiente presentación, queremos conocer un poco más sobre ustedes y cómo podemos seguir apoyándolos. En unos segundos verán en pantalla una pregunta rápida. Les pedimos que por favor participen. Sus respuestas nos ayudarán a entender mejor su interés en los temas que estamos compartiendo hoy y a ofrecerles un acompañamiento más personalizado. Es muy fácil y solo toma unos segundos. ¿Te gustaría que alguien del equipo de Bentley se ponga en contacto contigo para profundizar en cómo la inteligencia artificial y los gemelos digitales pueden aplicarse en tus proyectos de infraestructura? Y ahí tienen las respuestas. continuación, tenemos el gusto de presentar a uno de los líderes tecnológicos más influyentes de Bentley Systems. Julian Mood es el Chief Technology Officer de Bentley y el principal responsable de definir su visión tecnológica a nivel global. Con más de 20 años de experiencia en liderazgo en innovación, ha trabajado en startups, empresas en crecimiento y grandes corporaciones como SAP, Saitiel y Fluendo, empresa que además cofundó. Desde su llegada a Bentley en 2021, ha sido una pieza clave en la evolución de nuestras soluciones digitales, impulsando el uso de tecnologías como la inteligencia artificial y los gemelos digitales en el mundo de la infraestructura. Hoy Julián nos compartirá su visión en la ponencia Inteligencia Artificial en Infraestructuras, transformando la eficiencia, el diseño y la resiliencia, donde exploraremos cómo la inteligencia artificial está revolucionando la forma en que concebimos y operamos infraestructuras más inteligentes y sostenibles. Con ustedes, Julian Mood.
Buenos días, bienvenidas y bienvenidos a la Infraweek 2025. Es un gran placer y honor de poder introducir una vez más este evento. Hace unas pocas semanas, en Madrid, participé en una conferencia atendida por directivos de grandes empresas de la ingeniería y de la construcción. El enfoque era sobre la eficiencia y la resiliencia de la infraestructura, un tema más y más importante en un mundo apurado por tensiones geopolíticas, climáticas y económicas. La falta de recursos humanos, la escasez de recursos naturales y la urgencia creciente empujan a nuestro sector a transformarse para ponerse a la altura de un siglo lleno de desafíos. Esta transformación está bien encaminada. Tenemos una abundancia de datos de la cual no aprovechamos todo el potencial y tampoco nos falta la ingeniosidad. Durante este evento espero que podrán compartir y aprender ideas nuevas para afrontar estos retos en las mejores condiciones. Por mi parte, quiero arrancar este día intentando inspiraros con varios ejemplos de soluciones impactantes aprovechando nuevas tecnologías como la inteligencia artificial para problemas conocidos de nuestro sector. Uno de los primeros problemas que enfrentamos todos cada día es buscar y encontrar la información. Los ingenieros tienen que trabajar con extensos documentos para cada proyecto, sean para requerimientos o códigos locales. Poder acceder a la información que buscamos de manera casi inmediata nos permite desplegar nuestro pleno potencial. La inteligencia artificial es excelente en este dominio. Puede ingerir cantidades enormes de datos y responder a nuestras preguntas, proporcionando referencias que ayudarán al ingeniero a verificar la exactitud. Aquí pueden ver una demostración de un proyecto llamado OpenSite Plus, que permite al ingeniero adjuntar los documentos del proyecto y hacer preguntas usando lenguaje natural. Puede hacer preguntas sobre el proyecto, corroborar si la legislación local permite implementar una u otra alternativa. Pero no es todo. Cuando la inteligencia artificial puede también hablar con el modelo BIM y la herramienta de diseño, puede interrogar el modelo y ayudar al ingeniero a validar la calidad de su trabajo. También le puede ayudar a hacer cambios en dicho modelo, automatizando así un trabajo que puede ser largo y tedioso. La idea que cada proyecto es único es bastante errónea. Hay muchos patrones que se repiten una y otra vez. Se puede aprender y reaprovechar mucho de los proyectos del pasado. Pero ¿cómo acceder a los datos de manera rápida y eficaz? Aquí pueden ver una demostración de un nuevo motor de búsqueda basado en inteligencia artificial en ProjectWise. ProjectWise gestiona los modelos y los documentos de centenas y miles de proyectos para empresas de nuestro sector. Con esta nueva tecnología, el ingeniero puede hacer preguntas sobre la memoria de la empresa y encontrar rápidamente los documentos y las enseñanzas de otros proyectos del pasado. La inteligencia artificial extrae el sentido y el contenido de estos documentos, así que los atributos que los describen. Puede entender y refinar lo que está buscando el ingeniero en un modo conversacional y responder a sus preguntas con referencias a los documentos correspondientes. Si dejamos de lado un momento la búsqueda de información, los ingenieros dedican mucho tiempo en generar nueva información, como por ejemplo los dibujos técnicos. También la inteligencia artificial puede ayudar de manera espectacular. En este nuevo video pueden ver otra vez el producto OpenSite Plus con el diseño acabado. El ingeniero quiere generar varias hojas y dibujos y tiene que posicionar las anotaciones para facilitar el entendimiento y evitar los errores. Usando un modelo neuronal de IA, la aplicación puede generar las anotaciones de manera automática y disponerlas para que sea fácil de leer y entender. Dicho modelo neuronal puede aprender de dibujos de otros proyectos para respetar el estilo y la metodología de cada empresa. Este trabajo puede representar de un 30 al 50% del tiempo en un proyecto, o sea que le ahorrará mucho trabajo al ingeniero poder automatizarlo. Resumimos lo que hemos visto hasta ahora. Con productos que aprovechan la inteligencia artificial, podemos automatizar tareas repetitivas y muy consumidoras de tiempo. También podemos ayudar a los ingenieros a buscar y encontrar la información que necesitan de manera rapidísima. Todo esto libera mucho tiempo para los ingenieros, y este tiempo lo pueden aprovechar para dedicarlo a tareas de más alto valor, como intentar crear modelos más eficientes y resilientes, modelos que reducen el impacto sobre el medio ambiente y que serán más sostenibles. Buena noticia aquí también, porque la IA les puede ayudar con estos aspectos y vamos a ver ahora cómo. Para un proyecto en concreto, existen centenas o miles de variantes de diseño. Cada variante tendrá pros y contras, consumirá menos materiales, aguantará mejor una inundación o será más fácil a construir o a mantener. Contemplar todas estas posibilidades es un desafío casi inhumano, pues justamente la inteligencia artificial puede generar muchas de estas variantes y evaluarlas de manera automatizada, guiando así al ingeniero hacia soluciones exitosas. Ahora pueden ver en pantalla el ingeniero trabajando con la inteligencia artificial para mejorar su diseño. Una red neuronal analiza varias alternativas al diseño con el objetivo de mejorar según el criterio de coste. Este mismo acercamiento se puede aplicar en muchas disciplinas. Por ejemplo, miramos ahora el tema de estructuras de acero. Uno de nuestros clientes usó la API, la Programmation Interface, de nuestro producto STAD para automatizar la generación de modelos de estructuras con variaciones y analizar la performance de dicha estructura. Con esto consiguieron optimizar su estructura de manera automatizada, reduciendo la cantidad de acero requerida y respetando las normas y requerimientos. A ver, hemos hablado mucho de la parte de diseño de un proyecto de infraestructura, pero dichos proyectos no paran aquí, se tienen que construir y luego se tienen que operar. Si nos enfocamos ahora en la construcción, uno de los problemas recurrentes es el seguimiento del progreso, la capacidad de reaccionar al imprevisto y por fin de mantener los datos actualizados para que no solamente reflejen lo que se ha diseñado, pero también cómo se acabó construyendo. Bueno, supongo que ya imaginan lo que les voy a decir. La inteligencia artificial también nos puede ayudar aquí. Hacer un seguimiento regular de lo que está pasando en el terreno puede ser peligroso y muy tedioso. Con la llegada de drones, podemos tener un ojo en todo lo que está pasando, día a día, y para analizar estas fotos, flujos de vídeos y nubes de puntos, la inteligencia artificial nos puede ayudar a automatizar e identificar los detalles más importantes. Aquí tienen un ejemplo de un modelo neuronal, otra vez, que es capaz de analizar varias nubes de puntos y detectar los cambios entre ellas. Cuando mapeamos estos cambios al modelo BIM, podemos seguir y reportar sobre el progreso de la construcción, pero también en posibles desviaciones y de sus eventuales consecuencias. Para poder acceder a este tipo de avances, es necesario captar el estado en el terreno. Vemos aquí un ejemplo de un cliente llamado Ferrovial, basado aquí en España, que están equipando sus grúas, su maquinaria, sus drones y hasta los cascos de seguridad del personal con cámaras y sensores. Como les decía, nuestro sector se está transformando rápidamente. Bueno, para completar nuestro giro del sector, tenemos que mirar también cómo la inteligencia artificial puede ayudar a operar mejor las infraestructuras que soportan nuestra calidad de vida. Muchas de ellas son extensivas y monitorizarlas es un trabajo fastidioso. ¿Cómo detectar los problemas lo antes posible? O incluso, ¿cómo tener un buen entendimiento de la condición en la cual está la infraestructura y lo que tenemos ahí fuera y que tenemos que operar? En este último ejemplo, pueden ver cómo el flujo vídeo de cámaras integradas en coches que van circulando en la red día a día se puede analizar con la inteligencia artificial para detectar las señales, su eventual obstrucción por vegetación, defectos en el asfalto o objetos peligrosos. Eso permite informar a los operarios en un tiempo optimal de dónde y cómo actuar para mantener la infraestructura y el servicio que está dando en buenas condiciones. Hace casi un año firmamos un acuerdo de colaboración estratégica con Google y más recientemente anunciamos que habíamos integrado los datos de Google Street View y nuestro producto llamado Blyncsy. Con esto podemos ampliar aún más la cobertura de datos y combinar nuestra experiencia de la ingeniería para detectar incidentes y entender si son importantes. Espero haber podido inspiraros sobre casos de usos poderosos de la inteligencia artificial en el mundo de la infraestructura. Pero antes de acabar, me gustaría recordar aspectos importantes. Mucha de la infraestructura que usamos cada día se puede considerar como crítica. Los datos que describen dicha infraestructura son sensibles y hay que ser prudentes cuando empleamos tecnología como la inteligencia artificial con estos datos. Primero, es importante entender cómo se van a usar los datos con estos modelos de inteligencia artificial cuando usamos un producto. El proveedor del producto tiene que dar garantías y transparencia sobre cómo va a usar vuestros datos. Que sea por riesgos de seguridad o solamente para proteger vuestra propiedad intelectual, estos datos no pueden escaparse por un uso descuidado de la inteligencia artificial. También es importante entender que la inteligencia artificial intenta detectar y reproducir patrones que ha observado. Cuando se usa para generar contenido, puede introducir un sesgo debido a sus datos de entreno. También puede generar cosas erróneas y alucinar. Por eso es importante poder validar lo que recomienda o genera con herramientas de simulaciones y validación que ayudarán a los ingenieros a verificar la calidad del trabajo final. Espero que disfruten de la Infraweek y que estos ejemplos de uso de la inteligencia artificial les inspiraron para sus proyectos. Que tengan un gran día y gracias por su atención.
Gracias a Julian Mood por su inspiradora ponencia y por compartir su visión sobre el impacto de la inteligencia artificial en las infraestructuras. Fue un honor contar con su participación. Queremos aprovechar este momento para conocer un poco más sobre ustedes y cómo podemos seguir acompañándolos en su camino hacia la transformación digital. En pantalla verán una pregunta rápida. Les invitamos a participar. Sus respuestas nos ayudarán a entender mejor sus intereses y a ofrecerles contenido y apoyo más alineado con sus necesidades. Solo les tomará unos momentos. La pregunta es: ¿qué tan relevante considera la inteligencia artificial para el futuro de los proyectos de infraestructura en su organización? A continuación aparecerán las respuestas. Seguimos avanzando en esta jornada con una presentación que nos invita a mirar hacia el futuro, pero con los pies firmemente puestos en la acción del presente. A medida que nos acercamos a la COP30, El gran desafío ya no es solo comprometernos con el cambio climático, sino convertir esos compromisos en resultados reales y medibles. Nuestra siguiente ponencia nos mostrará cómo las tecnologías digitales, como los gemelos digitales, la inteligencia artificial y las herramientas geoespaciales, están ayudando a ciudades y propietarios de activos a pasar de la ambición a la acción. Y para guiarnos en este recorrido, tenemos el privilegio de contar con Rodrigo Fernández, director de sostenibilidad en Bentley Systems. Rodrigo lidera la estrategia global de sostenibilidad de la empresa, promoviendo el desarrollo sostenible a través del software, los servicios y la cultura organizacional. Antes de asumir este rol, trabajó como consultor senior y gerente de proyectos en el equipo de infraestructura hídrica, y más adelante como experto en desarrollo de negocios para el equipo de ciudades digitales. Con una sólida trayectoria en ingeniería ambiental, Rodrigo ha trabajado tanto en investigación como en el sector privado y ha sido experto externo para el Ministerio del Mar de Portugal y la Comisión Europea, además de desempeñarse como embajador del Pacto Climático Europeo. Tiene un doctorado en ingeniería ambiental y ha liderado más de 20 proyectos de innovación en Europa, centrados en la modelación de recursos hídricos y seguridad ambiental, con más de 30 publicaciones científicas revisadas por pares. Hoy nos presenta, rumbo a la COP30, de los compromisos climáticos a la acción con gemelos digitales de infraestructura. Una sesión con ejemplos reales, ideas poderosas y soluciones concretas para avanzar hacia una infraestructura más resiliente, transparente y sostenible. Con ustedes, Rodrigo Fernández.
Thank you, Erika. Pleased to be here again in Infraweek. I will do a presentation that will focus on sustainability, infrastructure, and how those worlds connect, and also the link to an event that is going to happen this year in Brazil, COP30. I will try to give a brief overview of where we are today in terms of sustainability, what will be the key points, the most important points of COP30, how this links to infrastructure and to our sector specifically. And I will also try to bring some success stories where the double transition with digital transformation and sustainable transformation are really improving the performance of the infrastructure sector. I will finalize with some key takeaways. So if we start looking to what is happening in the world in terms of not only sustainability, but in any type of sector, this is really a complex times that we face, and we see different signs. A world of contrasts, world divided, growing complexity. So if we look from one angle, we might be thinking that sustainability is now moving slower, or in some cases there is some pushback on sustainability aspects. If you look from another angle, you will see positive signs that will show how sustainability is becoming more relevant and how the world might be moving into that direction, right? So with all this complexity, and just giving you some examples, we are aware that due to the increasing usage of cloud technology and AI, it's more or less obvious that there's an increase in emissions in data centers, and also the water usage is increasing. That's one aspect. Of course, we also know that there's a very positive aspect of leveraging AI and cloud computing for everyday's lives, right? But we see these mixed feelings here. We also know that we are generating much more clean energy today with solar and wind. It's amazing the amount of energy, of clean energy we are creating right now. But the fact is that we are also increasing the consumption of non-renewables. So it's like we are not exactly in the energy transition stage, but more in the energy expansion. We are consuming more energy. One of the reasons is indeed because of the data centers. So we also see that the number, dimension, duration, and impact of extreme weather events has been increasing over the years. In some cases, insurance companies might be retreating from high-risk areas because they cannot cover the impacts there, because it doesn't make sense to an insurance to cover something where they already know that it's going to be damaged because of climate change. So we see this is more and more important. We see corporates, big companies refocusing on analyzing and assessing how material climate risks are for their businesses. On the other side, we also see companies that face the so-called green hushing, which means in some cases they simply don't talk about the positive things they do about sustainability because they think that the world will not want to know, and so they don't see it as positive. So very complex world, right? So it's we also, in regulations, we also see mixed feelings. We see that globally there's an acceleration of climate policies, but then if you look for specific regions, like in the EU, there was some delay in approval of CSRD and some reporting, some climate reporting directives. We also see that in the federal government in the US, there's some pushback and some deregulation, whereas some states in the US might still be pushing forward with sustainability, and we look into regions like Australia, who are mandating climate disclosures since January 2025. Again, investments, the same thing. We see from the last quarters, we have seen some underperformance from ESG-related funds. We saw also some fund outflows. Some people stop investing in sustainability funds, sustainability-related funds. On the other side, when we look to performance, we see that the funds related with sustainability, they outperform the traditional funds, and the year of 2024 was a year of consistent growth, and the projections, they will keep saying that there is a continued increase in terms of performance of these investments. So a very complex world, it's where we are today. And when we look into COP30, so that's basically the situation, the landscape that the world is facing in terms of sustainability, right? Then when we look to COP30, so what is COP30? Why is this important? So COP30 is organized by UNFCCC, which is the United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change. This is a multilateral treaty that started in 1994, and basically it's the UN process for negotiating an agreement to limit the effects of climate change. It includes virtually every country, the so-called parties. And so COP means Conference of the Parties, is indeed the world's largest climate summit, and it will be happening in America this time in Brazil, specifically in the American continent. It's the third United Nations Climate Change Conference in the Amazonia, in Amazon, in Belém, state of Pará, and a huge number of attendees is expected, including heads of state, diplomats, entrepreneurs, investors, etc. So why is this important? So basically, this COP30 will be 30 years after UN starting climate action. It's a milestone. It's the first one hosted in the Amazon, highlighting its crucial role in climate stability. We expect a lot of focus once again in climate finance, aiming to mobilize 1.3 trillion annually by 2035. There's also in all the aspects that highlight COP30, they want to move from commitments to action. So they want to prioritize implementation and to prioritize action over negotiation. So let's see how it will go, right? COP by definition, there's a lot of negotiation there. So I'm curious to see what they will mean by moving from negotiation to action. Finally, the aspect of the inclusiveness and ethical approach. So having in mind the location where it is, we expect that we will see more integration with indigenous people, indigenous voices, students, bring a more diverse group of stakeholders in order to make a more holistic approach. In terms of the main environmental topics that we expect to see happening in environmental and social aspects that we expect to see being highlighted at COP30. So, some of them are really, the business as usual of a COP event. So transitioning away from fossil fuels, this is a chronic aspect of COP. So we will see the continued effort to increase renewable energy and energy efficiency. Energy efficiency is indeed key, and it will be highlighted there. Second aspect, climate adaptation. We see that climate change effects, it's already affecting everyone in the world, especially the countries that are underdeveloped. And so there will be a special focus for vulnerable regions that are in developing countries. These two sides of the coin, like the climate mitigation and the climate adaptation, we are seeing more climate adaptation coming more and more relevant in the table. And the other two aspects, the third one, just and fair green transition. So the expectations are around a more inclusive and equitable shift to low carbon economy. This will be a key point in the discussions, as well as the integration of biodiversity as part of the link between climate and nature, having a nature positive energy transition, and integrating biodiversity considerations into renewable energy development agendas. That's indeed an important aspect that we expect to see more and more present in COP, specifically in COP30. Now, how does infrastructure links into this, right? So of course it's linked, when we talk about energy transition, climate adaptation, of course there's a huge, tremendous link with infrastructure. We know that infrastructure is responsible by 80% of all greenhouse gas emissions. It's a tremendous number, right? So when I'm mentioning here everything that relates with transportation operations, but also construction. So there's a huge responsibility for professionals that one way or another connect with the infrastructure sector. Second point, the increased effects of climate change. This is a big challenge for infrastructure sector, because by these increased effects, they are leading to more spending for resilient infrastructure, not only to plan and to prevent impacts, but also to respond to damage and to recovery, like disaster recovery, etc. So that's an important aspect. Another pressure is the fact that infrastructure is getting old. Aging infrastructure means that it will be more vulnerable to extreme weather events, and it will mean that we need more maintenance, more predictive maintenance and inspections to be in place. Also, a fourth point is the fact that renewables, they depend heavily on critical raw materials. When we talk about solar, wind, batteries for cars, they depend on cobalt, on nickel, on lithium, on many materials that are difficult to obtain. They are rare, they are scarce, and to obtain them, we need to do mining, and in some cases this is very challenging because mining might bring some social and environmental risks and concerns as well. A fifth aspect is the efficiencies, or if you prefer, the inefficiencies when we manage resources in infrastructure sector. The way we manage energy, water, and waste needs to be more optimized. We need to make it more efficient, because efficiency is a key point in sustainable transition. And final point is the notion that we have that to achieve net zero, we need to bring more innovation into the table. We need to do things differently. We need to start having different approaches and having new technologies. But in any case, we know that we need to obtain results now, so we need quick wins. And in order to obtain them, we need to balance this innovation with quick wins, and we need to take advantage of the technologies that exist today. And now moving to a question that I would like to raise here is the point, okay, we have these challenges around the world. We see this world of contrasts on sustainability. We see how important is COP30 in the world, and we see how infrastructure has challenges here to address, and the importance of infrastructure to address the sustainability aspects that I just mentioned. But now, how are companies, how is the world, how are infrastructure sector adapting to these sustainable challenges and to digital transformation? Are they still seeing sustainability as something that is wishful thinking? Is it something nice to have, or is it something that they can already see it as a beneficial aspect for them, right? Is this the new normal? That's the question we raise, and it's important for us to answer, because with all these challenges that we face, it's normal that we start thinking, well, with this pushback on sustainability, maybe companies will stop working with sustainability in their minds, right? Well, I think we need to think again, and I think the answer is no. And why? Because many companies, they already take advantage, they already embedded sustainability and digital transformation as part of their bread and butter, as part of their business as usual. They already future-proof their businesses to work in a way where sustainability is part of how they improve competitiveness, how they reduce risk, how they increase efficiencies in all aspects, including economical aspect. So here, what we see, these are two examples from two companies, WSP and Mott MacDonald in the UK. So in the left, we see a company, WSP, and basically they are testing and piloting a product from Bentley carbon analysis in iTwin, where they basically facilitate, they expedite the process of calculating carbon when they are still in the design stage, allowing them to do this, to manage these trade-offs between carbon and cost, and to make the best decisions they can in the early stages, right? Instead of just reporting carbon, they can go beyond that and start optimizing design based on these workflows. In the right, what we see is Mott MacDonald in a project in HS2, high-speed rail infrastructure in the UK, and they have used Bentley software, Bentley and Sequent, which is a company from Bentley as well. So they basically optimized the earthworks, the excavation in the line, in a way that they can take advantage of they reuse these materials, these excavated lands, and by reusing them, they can create more, optimal ways and efficient ways of constructing. So they reduce costs, they reduce the amount of water and carbon that is involved in all the process by minimizing excavations. They also, how do they do it? Basically, they do it with software that allows them to build a 3D model of the subsurface where they already know before excavating, they already know what is there. So they increase efficiencies a lot, and they optimize the construction process here, and so it's an amazing aspect. This is another example of how companies are achieving new outcomes with digital and with sustainability in their mind, right? So aged bridges and dams are now safer due to faster, cheaper, and more frequent inspections. So what does this mean? This means, the two companies, both in the US, but QK4, they had a great project in the US, in Kentucky, where they took advantage of drones, 3D laser scanning, and digital twins. And they were doing inspections of bridges across Kentucky, and they accelerated the process of surveying all these. They spent less surveys, like less 90% surveys, 50% less project costs, and they were able to respond to floods in July 2022, where they were able to quickly replace 50 bridges that were impacted by the disaster, right? So by accelerating the process of doing this unconventional inspection procedure, they were able to expedite the whole process, right? And this is really key. It's critical. In the right, it's also inspection. It's I would say dam monitoring solution where they are combining IoT data as well as drone data collected and reality mesh models. So they built a digital twin of the water dam, and they can ensure that they are fully aware in real time of any kind of structural integrity issue that they might face in the dam. Other examples, again, in this case, talking about water utilities, talking about water distribution. So this is an example in Colombia, in Bucaramanga. Basically, the Aqueducto Metropolitan de Bucaramanga in Colombia, this organization, they took advantage of our solution, water jams, and they optimized the water distribution system. So they were facing severe drought and escalating demand in this region, and they used the combined water jams with real-time digital model, integrating field data and advanced genetic algorithms to adjust valve configurations, minimizing pressure and reducing water loss. So at the end of the day, they were able to reduce water losses by 5%, which I think it was something like recovering 7,000 cubic meters recovered monthly. They also have less on-site visits needed, so they are also increasing energy efficiency from that perspective. And again, another example of what can be done. There are other organizations doing similar approaches like this one, but I wanted to bring this example, which is from Latin America. Here's another example, or two examples in the Americas. Not about energy production in this case. Clean energy is essential, not just how you generate the energy, but also how you distribute. It's really key that you have the right infrastructure to distribute the energy, to make it to make it affordable, to make it resilient, and to reach all houses that you have around the world. So at left we have a case of Copel, a company in Curitiba, Paraná, who has took advantage of our digital technologies like open utilities substation, microstation, Luminar T, and ProjectWise. They implemented a complete BIM environment for modeling medium and high voltage power substations, integrating civil, electromechanic, and electrical engineering processes, with all the project-related documentation management being available through ProjectWise. So they created a much more efficient way of managing this substation here. At the right side of the slide, what we see is it's Exo company. In this case, it was very much related with resilience, right? So there was a problem of a critical transmission tower that was damaged by flooding during pandemic, which was creating problems for local hospitals full of COVID-19 patients. So they wanted to update, and to repair the tower without damaging and without affecting the energy supply to these hospitals, right? We are talking about critical infrastructure here. And but what this company has done was they used drone photogrammetry and digital twin technology. So basically combining iTwin Capture and PLS CAD to build a digital twin of the damaged tower, right? So they were able to access structural problems and to design emergency stabilization, all while keeping the power line energized. So they were able to obtain a much faster response with this unconventional way of inspecting versus ground-based surveys that would take much longer. In another angle, looking from a city perspective and from a mobility angle perspective, these are two other success stories, two other examples using digital technologies and for sustainability outcomes, right? It's part of their business. What they are doing is at left Abu Dhabi, they used our OpenPath software to design and to plan the development of cyclic lanes for cycling and for walking, for citizens. We're talking about micro mobility here, active modes of transportation at left in a complex city like Abu Dhabi. So this is improving quality of life of citizens there, and of course also improving air quality because you have more cycling and less vehicles there as well. It's what they are trying to do. At right, a similar approach, but in this case, not focusing on active modes of transportation, but more on public modes of transportation. So Metro Istanbul, the population grew like 50% from 20 to 22. This increase has caused significant traffic problems, especially in the old part of the city, which is where they developed this metro station. And they wanted to ensure that citizens would have a great traveler experience, with citizens entering and leaving the metro station in a fast way, as fast as possible. And note that we are talking about some stations that serve 70,000 passengers per hour. So we're talking about a crazy, complex place here. So it's so this is, they need to do as much as they can in terms of efficiency. So they used our software Legion, to optimize pedestrian movements there in the station. And finally, the last cases around mining, right? So I mentioned before that you need critical raw materials for energy transition, right? It's not just that. In many cases, you might have other types of mines as well. So at left, what we see is the Geological Survey of Brazil that has initiated an emergency project to access the geological risks in the city of Maceió. located in northeastern Brazil. So they used Leapfrog Geo to enable the creation of 3D visualization of the current state of the salt mines. In this case, the development of this 3D geological model combined with the salt mine model, it played a crucial role for the organization to identify the main factors that were related to the subsidence recorded in Maceió. By understanding the processes at play in the region, this allowed the authorities to take proactive measures to avoid and to avert the loss of human life there. So yeah, so this is basically using 3D subsurface modeling as a way for understanding the problems risks that can affect people there. At right, it's a case of a company, SMG Consultants. They used our software to improve efficiencies. Basically, what they have done was we are talking about a nickel mine, right? So they were focused on better interpret, visualize, and understand the nickel resources at Indonesia's an Indonesia mine. So nickel is critical raw material, so crucial for energy transition. So they implemented a connected geodata workflow solution together with 3D modeling and estimation capabilities. So this approach with this digital solution that they included, they saved them like $10 million US in drilling costs, and they accelerated the process, much more efficient. But the 3D geological models also and the optimization of the drilling programs led to an estimated 80% reduction in drilling needs, reducing energy consumption, water usage, and CO2 footprint as well. So it's a good example of responsible mining, which is essential, right? So you need to increase efficiencies while you also reduce risks and social and environmental risks. And the digital technologies can indeed be used for something like this. So in a nutshell, summarizing all this, so we do face a world that is complex, that we see a lot of different a polarized world, geopolitical shifts, many things happening around the world. But the point is that sustainability and climate risk are not about politics, are not about branding issues. It's not about wishful thinking. It's not about nice things to have. Some of the companies already understood in infrastructure, they already understood this is about economy, this is about liability, and so they are embedding sustainability as part of their financial systems and a part of the operational exposure. Second point, we know that an organization that neglects how climate risks affects their value and their supply chain, it's exposing itself to strategic, financial, and operational vulnerabilities that can undermine the long-term viability and competitiveness of the business. So it's essential that they understand that, otherwise they might be at risk. So it's a liability and it's a problem for them. In the infrastructure sector, we see that many companies are already adopting digital and sustainability transformations as part of their new normal. They are taking benefits from there. They are improving their economic results. They are reducing their risks. They are future-proofing their strategies for the future. And that's great, right? But there's still a long way to go, because not only we need more advances in technologies, and there's a world of opportunities to do more things with AI, with digital twins, with data-driven technologies, but more importantly, there is already technologies available today to achieve quick wins and to achieve results today, which is essential. You cannot drive climate action if you don't start obtaining results today, right? So that's what is important in my perspective for us to retain, and it's also an important message for COP30, right? Implementation should start now, and results should start now. We should not be waiting for the next generation of technologies. So thank you very much. I will pass the ball again to Erika. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Rodrigo, por esta presentación tan poderosa y llena de propósito. Nos dejas con una visión clara de cómo la tecnología puede ser una aliada clave para convertir los compromisos climáticos en acciones concretas, medibles y sostenibles. Sin duda, una inspiración para todos los que trabajamos por un futuro más resiliente. Y ahora queremos hacerles una pregunta rápida para conocer su perspectiva y seguir acompañándolos en este camino. En unos segundos verán en pantalla una encuesta interactiva. Les invitamos a participar. Sus respuestas nos ayudarán a entender mejor cómo podemos apoyarlos en la adopción de tecnologías como los gemelos digitales y la inteligencia artificial en sus proyectos. Solo le tomarán unos segundos. La pregunta es, ¿te gustaría que alguien del equipo de Bentley se ponga en contacto contigo para profundizar en cómo estas tecnologías pueden aplicarse en tus proyectos de infraestructura? A continuación verán las respuestas. Antes de continuar, queremos recordarles que este espacio también es para ustedes. Si tienen preguntas, comentarios o inquietudes sobre lo que acabamos de ver, los invitamos a compartirlas a través del chat o la plataforma del evento. Nuestro equipo de especialistas está atento y se pondrá en contacto con ustedes para darle seguimiento personalizado y responder a cada una de sus dudas. Queremos seguir la conversación con ustedes más allá de esta sesión. Seguimos con una presentación que nos lleva al terreno práctico del diseño de infraestructura, donde la inteligencia artificial no solo es una promesa, sino una herramienta que ya está transformando la manera en que planificamos y construimos. Nos acompaña Brent Sabolt, ingeniero civil senior, con más de una década de experiencia en el sector privado, especializado en planificación urbana, gestión de aguas pluviales, control de erosión y métodos de construcción. Brent ha participado en proyectos comerciales y residenciales de alto impacto en Colorado, incluyendo el restaurante Campfire Evergreen, el Yampa Street Tech Center y el Hotel Gaylord en Aurora. Ha trabajado en firmas reconocidas como Strategic Site Designs, York Engineering y Dewberry, liderando equipos y desarrollando soluciones técnicas para infraestructura urbana con un enfoque detallado, eficiente y siempre alineado con los estándares locales. Domina herramientas como AutoCAD y Civil 3D y hoy nos mostrará cómo la inteligencia artificial a través de OpenSite Plus está revolucionando el diseño de infraestructura desde la etapa conceptual hasta la ejecución. Su ponencia se titula Inteligencia Artificial para el Diseño de Infraestructura, OpenSite Plus. Con ustedes, Brent Sabolt.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brent Sable, a civil engineer with over 10 years in consulting, specializing in commercial and residential projects. I've mainly used AutoCAD products, but now I'm excited to introduce OpenSite Plus, a game changer for site design. I understand the industry's challenges, and the collaboration with OpenSite Plus is a significant step forward. Before we explore OpenSite Plus, let's highlight some key challenges in the AEC industry. Those challenges are technology, workforce, and industry shift. Many firms face time-consuming manual processes and struggle to find and retain skilled workers. I know this firsthand as I worked 60-plus hours a week at my previous firm just 3 months ago. As industry evolves with new compliance standards, the demand for digital delivery and high-quality work within budget grows. What sets OpenSite apart from other generic civil applications is that it's designed specifically for site design. The shift to 3D workflows and AI is changing design approach for a competitive edge. The shift from old 2D sketches to advanced modeling shows that workers need innovative design analysis earlier in the process. As the industry changes, the demand for automated plan production is increasing. The three main points we're going to hit on today for OpenSite Plus is accelerate site planning and due diligence, incorporate grading optimization, and automated plan production. OpenSite key AI-powered features will help firms overcome the many site challenges we discussed, compiling agency requirements to adjust design with Copilot civil assistance, and estimating construction costs by optimizing site layout for balanced earthwork. Utilizing AI, automated annotating, labeling, and sheeting to ensure instant updates in compliance with client standards. Today, we'll examine how a land development team works to establish a retail store for their clients while facing tight deadlines and limited information. You only have your junior staff to assist you in this effort. However, you have plans tonight, whether it's dinner or spending time with friends and family, and you want to complete the project as quickly as possible. Fortunately, the team has been looking at OpenSite Plus at Bentley. Let's look at what makes this possible. We live in an era of digital transformation and AI, and I'm excited to showcase how these technologies support engineers and designers in site planning and due diligence. This new workflow enables engineers to work more effectively and manage projects complexity while meeting today's deliverable expectations. So, I've already uploaded our zoning documents into OpenSite Plus. So now I need to ask it a couple questions to start figuring some items out. First, can we build a retail shop in a CUM20 zone district? And it looks like we were able to. It also gives us a link to where we can pull up the document as well. Now we need to ask it how many parking spaces we currently need for 24,000 square feet. It pulled it up and we needed 80 parking spaces. Now let's go and look at our site a bit further. So with the Copilot Civil Assistance, let's ask how many parking spaces do we currently have? So just with a matter of seconds, we currently have 216 spaces. So we have well more than what is a requirement. We'll let our client know, and maybe he wants to limit a parking space or expand the building footprint. Next, we also spoke to him, and he doesn't like the 60-degree angle parking spaces. That's okay, as we all know, the client is always right. So let's go ahead and ask Copilot to update that for us. Let's ask it just to update all parking spaces to be 90 degrees. Just like that, it was updated. Again, these quick updates would take hours in Civil 3D, but luckily for us, that's not the case. Next, we're going to take a look at optimizing our site layout and earthwork. The reality of site plan is that it exists on a 3D surface. The earth is not flat, so mitigating risks and accounting for 3D topography and site constraints is essential. Advanced computer algorithm provides insights into ground condition, enhancing your site layout. These tools streamline the design process, saving time and effort in engineering estimates and plan production. Now, one of the biggest factors in site design is your cost estimate. Is that cost going to be too high to derail the project, or right on point with what the developer is looking for? And that's usually where you want to get it. You want to have a balanced site and numbers that he is okay with, or she. So I'm going to show you how we get there. Okay, so we have our model open. Our junior engineers laid out a bit, but there's still some finishing we need to do. Luckily for us, that's only going to take minutes. So they laid out our center line of our roadway. It's just a 2D line, but we're easily able to convert into a site object. So we're going to change it into a driveway path. This is now has smart features associated with it. So when we come to optimize our site, you'll understand the parameters of that road. Now we want to draw in our parking lot. There we have our parking lot. Say we want to scale it back just a bit. So just like that, we can pull it back and updates accordingly. Now we needed to add a couple of driveways. Connect our parking to our proposed road. Here we go. Let's add another one. And just like that, they're both integrated into the parking lots, and they remove the necessary parking spaces for the drive aisles. Now, we also need to convert our building to a smart object. We go to a building area. Now it's given smart features. And let's go ahead and do that with our pond as well. So next we want to add some sidewalk. There we go. Now we want to expand our footprint of our pond just a bit. Easily done within seconds. Now let's add the remaining structures for our stormwater network. So we need an outfall and an outlet structure. Now we notice that our outfall came in incorrectly, but we can easily rotate it. Now it's correct. Now let's add pipes. So as you can see, all the other items were grayed back, so you can only see your structures, which is a helpful, very helpful tool. Now let's go ahead and optimize our site. So first, we need to create our boundary. So OpenSite Plus knows exactly where to grade. We currently had our rectangle drawn in kind of as our limits of construction, but we're going to convert that into our grading limits. Now OpenSite Plus knows exactly where to grade. So let's go ahead and optimize our site. As you can see, red is cut, blue is fill, yellow is to little to no change. We'll accept it. And you can see we have a cost estimate broke down. Pull it up a little bit. So it gives us our quantity and our unit cost and our subtotal. We can also export that into an Excel file, which was on the previous slide that you had seen. Next, we're going to take a look at drawing productions. Creating construction drawing is one of the most time-consuming tasks in land development. Using AI drawing production, you can accelerate your internal process and streamline annotation for 10 times faster construction drawing production. So we've advanced our site to the point where we can start cutting the sheets. So let's go take a look at how we're able to do it. So we have imported our iModel into OpenSite Designer. Now we need to start placing our sheet boundary. So a retail shop name, size, scale, give it a scale, and let's just place that. Now we can come in here, modify that, pull it in a bit, and we're going to use that to create multiple sheets. So let's use our first one as our horizontal control plane. Next, we just need to select a category. We're going to do dimensions and tables, and we want to make sure we're using a site plan. So let's go ahead and create that. Again, this is done within seconds to not minutes. As to if I was using AutoCAD, this is taking me hours. Just like that. We have our horizontal control plane. And typically on horizontal control planes, I don't like to see the contours. So again, you could easily modify that and change those. Again, you could keep on freezing those items depending on your preference. Now let's go in and create a grading plan. So we're going to go back to our design model. We're going to use that same viewport, and we're going to create a grading plan. Make sure we have the correct sheet and our category. And there you go. There's your grading plan. So we're able to complete the project and enjoy dinner with friends and family instead of being stuck in another late night design ordeal with your design team trying to adhere to standards while pushing plan sheets out. How is all this possible? Because you accelerated site planning and due diligence with civil assistance, you incorporated more site grading costs into your design approach with gradient optimization, and you sped up plan production using AI. Thank you for your time and have a good day.
Muchas gracias, Brent, por esta presentación tan clara y práctica. Nos mostraste cómo la inteligencia artificial aplicada con herramientas como OpenSite Plus puede marcar una gran diferencia en la forma en que diseñamos infraestructura desde el primer trazo. Sin duda, una demostración valiosa de cómo la tecnología puede ayudarnos a trabajar con mayor precisión, eficiencia y visión. Y ahora queremos conocer su opinión sobre este tema. En pantalla verán una pregunta rápida. Les invitamos a participar. Sus respuestas nos ayudarán a entender mejor cómo están abordando el diseño conceptual en sus organizaciones y cómo podemos seguir apoyándolos. Solo les tomará unos momentos. La pregunta es, ¿qué tan útil considera el uso de inteligencia artificial en la etapa de diseño conceptual de proyectos de infraestructura? Y a continuación, las opciones de respuesta. Para cerrar con broche de oro esta primera sesión de Infraweek Latinoamérica 2025, tenemos el honor de presentar a un líder apasionado por la interoperabilidad y el impacto abierto en el mundo geoespacial. Con nosotros está Alex Paulson, quien desde hace 2 años forma parte del equipo de Cesium, la plataforma líder en visualización 3D geoespacial. Antes de unirse a Cesium, Alex trabajó en una empresa de software apoyando a usuarios con activos industriales y pasó los primeros 10 años de su carrera en General Electric, donde desarrolló una profunda comprensión de las necesidades del sector industrial. Hoy Alex nos invita a descubrir cómo Cesium está transformando la manera en que interactuamos con los datos espaciales en 3D, fomentando la apertura, la interoperabilidad y el acceso a experiencias inmersivas que están revolucionando industrias enteras. Con ustedes, Alex Paulson y su charla Descubre Cesium, la plataforma líder en geoespacial 3D. Bienvenido, Alex.
Hello to all of our friends in the community within Brazil and Latin America. We're very excited to have this opportunity to present Cesium to all of you today. Throughout this presentation, we'll go through some introductions and an overview of Cesium. We have a fantastic video for all of you. We then have put together a few Cesium user stories that we thought might be of value and interest to this particular group. And then we'll go through the typical need from our community of users and how to get started quickly to accelerate value using Cesium for your use cases. With that, let's get started. So we're actually going to start this particular presentation with a video of Cesium, and this does a fantastic job of articulating who Cesium is and what Cesium does for the community.
From construction and urban planning to aerospace and defense, modern industries rely on 3D geospatial technology. Cesium is the platform for 3D geospatial, empowering users of all skill levels to build experiences with real-time 3D, massive scale, and geospatial accuracy. At the heart of the platform is 3D Tiles, an OGC community standard created by Cesium to stream massive 3D geospatial datasets like photogrammetry, buildings, and point clouds. We are uniquely dedicated to openness and interoperability. Cesium.js is our open source 3D visualization engine for the web. Our open source plugins for Unreal Engine, Unity, and NVIDIA Omniverse allow users to bring real-world data to their immersive apps, experiences, and simulations. To get started, sign up for a free account and upload your data. Cesium Ion will optimize it as 3D tiles and host it in the cloud, or your self-hosted environment. Combine your data with our library of curated 3D global content and start developing. Headquartered in Philadelphia and serving users around the globe, the Cesium platform has millions of downloads and powers thousands of 3D geospatial applications across a wide range of industries. Learn more and sign up today at cesium.com.
So again, a fantastic overview video of Cesium. You know, one of the things that the video calls out, you know, Cesium's core tenets are openness and interoperability. So, you know, when I say openness, our visualization clients are open source. We have open REST APIs in and out of our platform. And Cesium only produces 3D tiles, which is an open data standard. 3D tiles has been widely adopted across the industry as the open standard for streaming these massive 3D geospatial data sets performantly at runtime. It's been adopted by Google with Google's photorealistic 3D tiles, Esri, US Army, just to name a few examples. So again, 3D tiles is an industry open standard. And even if you do not select Cesium, you know, for your particular use cases, we do recommend 3D tiles to help optimize and performantly stream your data for your digital twins at runtime. So with that, we have a few user stories we'd like to jump into. You know, first of which is a user story with one of our users, Drone Deploy. So Drone Deploy helps users take reality capture and optimize it to 3D tiles, you know, for things like construction sites. So Drone Deploy is currently using Cesium in over 180 countries, 1.7 million job sites. And you know, the problem that they ran into is when you have massive amounts of data, say for like an entire construction site, being able to stream that performantly into a web browser at runtime is very difficult, if not impossible. Which is why they selected 3D tiles and Cesium to optimize their users' data to 3D tiles to ensure that their users' data maintains the quality and performance that, you know, their users expect from Drone Deploy. The next story we have here is a new feature that we came out with a few months ago called the Cesium Design Tiler. And we also released along with it a plugin to Autodesk Revit. And what the Cesium Design Tiler enables users to do is to take building information or BIM models and convert them to 3D tiles. And specifically, we were helping users convert their BIM models to 3D tiles 1.1. The 1.1 specification allows users to bring through all the metadata attached to that particular file. So as you can see in the video here, you know, users can do in-client filtering, querying, picking. So you can click any asset within the building and retrieve the metadata through a heads-up display. You can also filter off particular pieces of equipment or assets. So you could say, I don't want to see the facades. I don't want to see the structure. I only want to see my plumbing and HVAC equipment, color all my electrical equipment yellow. And this has helped our community of users accelerate in collaboration across multi-engineering disciplines, driving efficiencies, reducing rework, and has been one of our more popular features that we have released. And again, the plugin to Revit enables users to extract all of the rich, you know, textures and materials information from Autodesk into the Cesium visualization. Cesium is also used heavily in public outreach. So Drip Visual built a product on top of the Cesium platform for the Netherlands, specifically to help with urban planning. So, you know, if there's a particular design, such as a highway overpass, a parking lot, a building, This particular application allows the stakeholders of the Netherlands to review the designs before construction begins, and then provide feedback through this particular product to the government or the AEC engineering firms, so they can essentially take into account that public outreach and the opinions before construction on the designs begins. So again, fantastic public outreach, platform for public outreach. One of our other users, EarthBrain, which is a subsidiary of Komatsu, leverages Cesium as part of its smart construction product and projects. One of the things that's unique that EarthBrain provides to its users is the ability to visualize, say a construction site in 4D. So they allow their users to go back in time and see the earthworks project 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 6 months ago, what the current project looks like in real time, and then to simulate, future changes in earthworks in the future. So again, incredibly valuable product for EarthBrain and Komatsu users for smart construction use cases leveraging the Cesium platform. Lockheed Martin built a product called the Joint Activity Manager. The Joint Activity Manager takes satellite imagery and through AI identifies the hotspots of wildfires. They then incorporate things like weather patterns, wind, and they identify where the hotspots of wildfires are migrating and where the wildfires are spreading. And they use this information to then coordinate with local fire departments to help mitigate the spread of wildfires. So a great use case, taking multiple different data sets, imagery, whether leveraging AI to identify, again, insights into where the wildfires are headed, and then working with third parties, in this case being the fire departments, in order to help prevent the spread of these wildfires. So Cesium, helps users in aerospace, architecture, engineering, construction, mining, underground use cases. But Cesium also helps a lot of users for subsea use cases. So this particular user, Oceans Exploration Trust, uses Cesium to optimize host and stream, their massive 3D and 2D data sets and reality capture that they have in this particular video taken of the Pacific Ocean floor. Ocean Exploration Trust's use cases primarily for education purposes, but we have a lot of users that have similar use cases, and this could easily just as be oil and gas assets on the ocean floor as well. So the last user story we have here kind of brings a lot of this together. Say you are designing an offshore wind farm. You have BIM models of the wind turbines. You might have reality capture of the ocean floor. This is a particular demonstration that we've put together in Cesium for Unreal, bringing in the BIM models for the wind turbines, and then visualizing the wind turbines, the base of the wind turbines, and then the ability, again, to see all of the metadata, perform picking for not only like the tops of the wind turbines, but the bottoms of the wind turbines, the cables, etc. So with that, we'll go through a typical need from our users and community and how to get started. So the typical need from our users is the ability to stream, your digital twin with 3D context at global scale. So this could be reality capture, this could be, BIM CAD models, this could be imagery. And our users typically want to be able to stream this across multiple media, so AR, VR, MR use cases, desktop, mobile, across siloed user groups, and then time. So again, this particular video shows a BIM model that we've ingested, optimized to 3D tiles. We've added Google photorealistic 3D tiles around it. This is downtown Philadelphia. where Cesium is headquartered. And through the power of Unreal, given that this is visualized in Cesium for Unreal, our users can do things like sun shade studies. They can bring in weather events, etc. I typically break Cesium into 4 parts. So you have your data. Again, this could be BIM models, photogrammetry, CAD models, point clouds, imagery, terrain files. Cesium takes your data and converts it to 3D tiles, which is an open standard. You will never have vendor lock-in with Cesium. Cesium then adds global 3D context to your tile data. And then Cesium gives you the ability to view and analyze your data with context in any of our open source clients. So the video here is something that one of our local partners based in Philadelphia, Pannoni, put together. So this is a bridge that they have brought in to Cesium for Unreal. You can see Google photorealistic 3D tiles in the background. And then they simulated the carrier or ship going under the bridge. They simulated the cars going over the bridge. And they selected Cesium because Cesium enabled them to put this particular visualization together quite quickly. So they could then do more value add activities such as the simulation of cars and ship to improve the end product going to their end user, which is one of the Department of Transportations in the US. Again, Cesium also provides users with global 3D context around your data. So we have our own proprietary content, Cesium World Terrain and Imagery, Cesium World Bathymetry, so subsea terrain. We have over 400 million OSM buildings, including buildings in Latin America and Brazil. And then we have the moon as well. And then we resell third-party data, such as Google photorealistic 3D tiles, Big Maps imagery, and Excel 3D city data. And users, again, use this to essentially accelerate the production of their data in their digital twins for their use cases. This provides a base layer of content, a global base layer of context for any use case. Cesium's largest value proposition is the ability to accelerate value for its users. So earlier we showed a demonstration of, the plugin we built to Autodesk Revit to extract materials and textures for that particular building BIM model. We have a great collaboration with Esri, and we have multiple plugins to, say, as an example, Esri ArcGIS. We were just acquired by Bentley this past September, and we have integrations into Bentley products. And a lot of our users, especially in the AEC industry, leverage products like Rhino 3D. Cesium's biggest value prop is the ability to accelerate value and to take data from multiple different software tools and combine these disparate data sets into one visualization, optimizing them to 3D tiles, adding in context, and then giving users the ability to visualize all of their data, regardless of origin, across multiple projects, across the enterprise, to performantly, again, at runtime. The big takeaway here being is, as you think about your digital twins and use cases, having interoperable building blocks and open standards ultimately will help you accelerate value internally and for your end users. So again, it's very easy to get started with Cesium. If anyone watched the summer games in Paris this past summer, and if you saw any of the commercials, flying from the Eiffel Tower to any of the stadiums across Paris, all of these visualizations were done in Cesium for Unreal. This is Google photorealistic 3D tiles in the background. NBC Sports put this particular video together, and the reason they chose Cesium is because Cesium just made it easy for their team. Cesium just worked right out of the box, and it enabled NBC to focus on more value add items to improve the value that they were offering to their users, being, all of the viewers of the Summer Games. We have multiple quick start guides, tutorials, and materials to get started. Again, that's if you go to cesium.com/learn, we have a lot of great documentation. And you can test out Cesium for free today just by going to ion.cesium.com and signing up for a free community license to get a sense of what Cesium can provide for your use case. And with that, I just want to say, a huge thank you to everyone who joined today. Thank you for your interest in Cesium. We have a few links here that we can send out after the presentation. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to either myself or our Sales at Cesium inbox. Again, thank you all, and to our friends and colleagues within Brazil and Latin America. And I hope everyone has a great rest of the conference.
Muchas gracias a Alex Paulson por esta inspiradora presentación sobre Cesium y su papel como plataforma líder en visualización geoespacial 3D. Su visión sobre la interoperabilidad, la apertura de datos y las experiencias inmersivas nos ha mostrado cómo el mundo geoespacial está evolucionando hacia un futuro más conectado, accesible y dinámico. Sin duda, su experiencia y pasión por transformar la manera en que interactuamos con los datos espaciales nos deja mucho en qué pensar y explorar. Gracias, Alex, por compartir con nosotros cómo Cesium está ayudando a revolucionar industrias enteras a través de la innovación abierta. Antes de cerrar esta sesión en pantalla, verán una pregunta rápida. Les invitamos a participar. Sus respuestas nos ayudarán a entender mejor cómo podemos seguir apoyándolos. La pregunta, ¿te gustaría que te contactemos para explorar cómo Cesium y Bentley puede apoyar tus proyectos? Y a continuación vienen las respuestas. Queremos agradecer sinceramente a nuestros ponentes por sus valiosas intervenciones y a todos ustedes por habernos acompañado en este primer bloque de Infraweek Latinoamérica. Sabemos que han surgido muchas preguntas interesantes durante las presentaciones. Por cuestiones de tiempo no pudimos responderlas todas en vivo, pero no se preocupen, nuestros especialistas estarán dando seguimiento a través del correo electrónico. Les recordamos que pueden seguir participando a través del panel interactivo. Sus respuestas y comentarios son fundamentales para nosotros, ya que nos permiten entender mejor sus necesidades y brindarles apoyo en sus operaciones y proyectos, especialmente mediante tecnologías innovadoras como los gemelos digitales y la inteligencia de infraestructuras. Y esto no termina aquí. Los invitamos cordialmente a unirse a nuestro siguiente bloque que dará inicio hoy mismo a las 13 horas tiempo de México. En esta segunda sesión exploraremos el tema Soluciones digitales para infraestructura de transporte. No se lo pierdan, nos vemos muy pronto.